It's Bullseye. I'm Jesse Thorn. My guest is Billy Eichner. We talked in 2013. He hosts one of my favorite shows, Billy on the Street. Maybe you've seen it. If you haven't, here's the premise. Eichner goes out on the streets of New York City and asks random passers-by pop culture quiz questions. If they get them right, they win money. Only if you're imagining something like Cash Cab or something, it is definitely not that. The host is a manic, petulant, Madonna-obsessed man who shouts at his contestants, storms off from them before they can finish their sentence, and if they win that big cash prize, it's usually $1. The show's since returned to its home on Funny or Die. It's as great as ever. He just did a bit with Tiffany Haddish where they tried to cast a new, more woke version of Hocus Pocus, the 1993 witch comedy starring Bette Midler and Sarah Jessica Parker.
Sir, it's Tiffany Haddish.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, we're gonna make a more inclusive Hocus Pocus. Are you straight and white?
Yes.
Oh, no, okay. We need Asian witches.
The show's best moments, though, aren't always with celebrities. Like in this clip, when Billy found a man with some very firm opinions about Meryl Streep.
Who's better, Meryl Streep or Glenn Close?
Glenn Close, Bob.
What?
Yeah,
No, that is not the truth.
Meryl Streep is old.
First of all, her name is Meryl Streep, not Meryl Streep. But she's a porn star.
I don't care. Meryl Streep is old. She's done.
No, it's Meryl Streep is better than Glenn Close.
Okay, I agree with you.
Billy Eichner, welcome to the show.
Hi, I love that clip.
That man is an amazing man. He is very carefully turned out.
Yes.
Also missing teeth.
Missing a few teeth, yeah.
And he continues the segment after you have left the frame.
That's right.
For minutes.
Absolutely.
Like-
I walk away, and this semi-toothless man, he may or may not be homeless. I don't know if he is, so I don't want to...
He's very sharp, though. I mean, for a homeless guy, he's got his act together.
He's very sharp, and he has some very passionate opinions about Meryl Streep, even though he says streak, and Glenn Close. He really loves Glenn Close. He must watch Damages. I don't know how, but he does it.
I like that he's a big fan of you, too. He is emphatic about making the point.
It's incredible.
That you're his man.
That's one of my favorite clips of all time, and I haven't heard it in a while, so that was fun.
We have this thing called the Outshot on the show where I recommend something. And I wrote one about your show because, as I said in the introduction, I think it's totally great.
Thank you very much.
And one of the things that I said was that your character on the show, we've only interacted for about 5 minutes, but you're not like that in real life.
No.
That would be real exhausting.
That would be a terrifying life to lead.
Reminds me a lot of Pee-wee Herman.
That's right.
In that it is very childlike and petulant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And you're not the first person to make the Pee-wee comparison, and it is like a huge honor for me just for someone to make that comparison and I never thought about Pee-wee while I was, started making these videos and doing the show, but when people bring it up, I think, yes, of course, because when I was a kid, I was completely obsessed with Pee-wee Herman for a period of time. I religiously watched Pee-wee's Playhouse. I would get up Saturday mornings, 11 a.m. I would wake up way before 11 a.m. because I was like 7. And I loved him so much. I loved the world he created on that show. I love Pee-wee's Big Adventure. I love Big Top Pee-wee, the movies he did with Tim Burton. And there was a phase where I went through a 6-month phase where I only would speak to my parents in the Pee-wee voice. This is not a joke.
That's not true.
I swear. I wouldn't do it at school, but when I got home, I'd be like, "Meryl, I want breakfast," and I
have some Mr. T cereal.
Exactly. Let's not keep doing that voice.
No,
but
that's enough.
And there was a period too when I would force my mother to answer me in the Pee-wee voice. And so my poor, middle-aged Jewish mother in Queens would have to be like, "I have eggs." I mean, it wasn't pretty, but I swear that's the case. And I just loved Pee-wee so much. And so when people mention to me now that something about what I do on Billy on the Street is similar to Pee-wee Herman, I'm just floored by it. I think that's the highest compliment.
One of the things about Pee-wee Herman as a character that is, driven by his childlikeness. I mean, Pee-wee is doesn't have an age exactly.
Right.
Maybe in some of the early things he does on Letterman and stuff like that, there's a
Right.
specific age. But generally, he's not of an age.
That's correct. Yeah.
But one of the things that he does that is like a child is invest enormous stakes into very stupid, silly
Yes.
matters.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
And in some
I love
ways,
that.
that's sort of the premise of Billy on the Street.
In a way, I mean, I'm a very pop. I mean, it's a character for sure, even though I use my real name. But it is rooted in parts of my personality. Obviously, like since I was a kid, since I was like that Pee-wee Herman obsessed child, I was not just Pee-wee obsessed. I was completely obsessed by pop culture and the entertainment industry. And this is before the internet. So, my father and I would read Page Six together, like the gossip column in the New York Post, when I was like 6 years old. Like instead of nursery rhymes, like I was reading about, celebrities. So what I'm doing on Billy on the Street, although it's 20 years later, is really taking that to like the 10th power. Like it's a very exaggerated version of my id in a way, or what my id was as a kid. And I just said id as a kid. But yeah, I enjoy it. I think it's so silly. It's so absurd. Like when people say the show is absurd, I take that as like a compliment, a huge compliment, because that's the kind of comedy I like. It's Pee-wee. It's when I grew up watching Martin Short. Love Martin Short, on SNL. And that's just, I don't know. I sort of, not to say I'm as good as those people. I'm not, but I come out of that tradition. I'm inspired by those people. And so, yeah.
I want to play another clip of you performing. This is actually a clip from the Conan O'Brien show, which is called Conan.
Yes.
You've done a series of Madonna-related man on the street videos for them.
Of course I have.
There's one where you go to see Madonna at the Super Bowl. There's one where you go to see her at Yankee Stadium.
Yes.
There's one where you go see her in Tel Aviv.
Yes. Well, the order is Conan, and the people at Conan have been incredibly generous to me and so supportive. They had an idea, they saw my videos, they saw Billy on the Street, and they sent me, I did his show just as a regular guest, and I showed clips from my show, sort of typical talk show appearance, and then they called the next day and they said, do you want to go to the Super Bowl? We have great access at the Super Bowl. Do you want to go cover it for us? And I said, yeah, sure. I mean, I can turn that down, but I didn't know what my angle would be because I don't give a about football. And yet it is a big kind of pop culture event. Like it goes beyond football. And it turned out that of all the years for me to be asked to go to the Super Bowl, Madonna was the halftime show this year. And I was a huge, still am, like, unabashed, unashamed, huge Madonna fan. But especially as a kid, as a gay kid growing up in the 80s, she was it. And she still is it to me. And to many people. But it turned out Madonna was the halftime show. And so we thought like, oh, here's the idea that I would go to Indianapolis, to like the middle of the country where the Super Bowl is happening. And I would only care about Madonna at the Super Bowl, that I wouldn't care about the Super Bowl at all. And I'd go up to people who have traveled all over to come to the big game and ask them about Madonna. And when they didn't care, which many times they did not, I got really angry.
Sir, are you excited about Madonna?
Madonna?
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
Why? She's the halftime show.
She's an old hag.
You're an old hag. It's Nicki Minaj.
And then the amazing thing is that Conan's show somehow got me on the field at the Super Bowl. So I'm on the field. I saw Madonna's show from the 50-yard line. And then right after the game, I ran up to the players, like on the field after the Giants had just won, and asked the players, I didn't ask them about the game. I said, how did you like the Madonna show? And they obviously were like, what the
They're just
hell
baffled.
is this
They're like,
kid
yeah,
talking
we
about?
were doing strategy in the club.
Yeah, they were like, no, I was in the locker room.
Congratulations.
Man, appreciate it, man.
You guys played an amazing game.
It's something that was hard fought for, man. We knew that it wasn't going to be easy.
Yeah, congratulations. Did you guys see Madonna? Did you guys see Madonna? Hey, did you see Madonna?
No.
Oh, she was amazing.
I was in the locker room.
Okay.
So this is a clip from the third in your Madonna video trilogy. This one's at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, so what happened was then after the Super Bowl, Conan sent me to Israel to cover the opening night of Madonna's World Tour, telling me he was sending me to cover the nuclear crisis between Iran and Israel, but I only cared about Madonna. And then finally, Madonna came to New York to do her tour at Yankee Stadium, and again, somehow I got access, and I was allowed to ambush Madonna on stage at Yankee Stadium while she was rehearsing.
Let's take a listen.
Hi, Madonna!
What are you doing here?
This is amazing!
What is this? This is not...
Hi, Rocco!
Rocco, get him... Did you tell...
Rocco loves me.
Rocco never met you.
What?
You're a weirdo.
No, I'm great.
No, you're not great.
No, I'm great. Are you doing Holiday tonight?
We're not doing holiday...
What? No, let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
Guess what else we're not doing?
What?
We're not doing Vogue.
Hey, it's Bullseye. I'm Jesse Thorn. My guest, Billy Eichner, is the host of Billy on the Street. This game is called Dead or Boring. You just, I mean, this is just like a young lady who looks like she goes to fashion school and has a giant blonde afro.
Yeah.
What is your name, man?
Pauline,
Pauline, what do you do in New York?
about to drink. My best friend.
You just get drunk?
Yeah.
No, come on, you have to do something else.
Shop.
All right, drinking and shopping. Well, you look like the Cowardly Lion, and I like it.
Thank you.
Okay, here we go. We're going to play Dead or Boring. I'm going to rattle off a list of celebrity names, and you have to tell me whether that person is dead or boring. If they're dead, you say...
Dead.
If they're boring, you say...
Boring.
Correct, Pauline. Okay, if you get 7 right in 30 seconds, you win a big prize.
Okay.
Ready to play?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Put 30 seconds on the clock, please. Ready to play Dead or Boring?
Yes.
Here we go, Pauline. Dead or boring? And away we go. Elvis Presley.
Dead.
Yes, correct. Buddy Holly.
But boring.
No, dead. Taylor Lautner.
Dead.
No, boring. Taylor Lautner. Come on. Audrey Hepburn.
Boring.
No, dead. Randy Jackson.
Boring.
Yes, correct. James Brown.
Dead.
Yes, correct. Lauren Conrad.
Boring.
Yes, correct. Jessica Tandy.
Dead.
Yes, correct. Heidi Montag.
Boring.
Yes, correct. Tupac Shakur.
Dead.
Yes, Tiny Tim Winner. Yes, you win, Pauline. Congratulations. Ah! Yes, Pauline, here's your prize. Oh my God, it's paper! It's paper! Yes, Pauline!
Yeah, blank paper was her prize.
Yeah.
She was great. She was fun. The contestants, the people I approach on the street, I mean, I do my thing and hopefully people like it, but really, it's about these New Yorkers. This is real New York. The contestants themselves, we decide what neighborhood we're going to. We turn the cameras on. The sound guy turns the mics on. The PAs are behind me, and I start walking. I don't know who I'm going to approach until a second before I approach them, whether it's to ambush someone and scare them, or with a lightning round question or a longer 10-minute game. We don't know what's going to happen, and so you're not getting a glossy Sex and the City New York, as much as I love that New York. But I grew up in New York, and these are my people. I love New York a lot.
The person I imagine when I watch you on television is the person who, after one of these interactions, has to go up to that person and get them to sign a consent form to appear on television.
Yeah, that's going to be the spin-off show, those conversations. I get to keep walking because I got to keep shooting the show. But what happens is after I have an interaction with someone, whether it's for literally a second or 20 minutes, and you never know what it's going to be. A PA, one of our wonderful, relentless PAs have to go up to that person, and usually the person's like, what the F just happened? Who was that? What happened to me? And then we have to get a signature from that person in order to be able to use that clip on TV without blurring their face. And we don't want to blur faces because that would be irritating to watch. Yeah, it's a process.
Have you done things that are 20 minutes where you were like, oh, freaking nailed it, and the person changes their mind at the end and doesn't want to be on TV?
Usually when they stick around with me for that long. Remember, this is not a hidden camera show. People who are like, oh, how can you do that to people? Are you kidding? Do you see what else is on television that are hidden camera prank shows? There are 2 cameras in your face and a boom over your head, and me, a very loud, tall gay man with a mic in your face. You know what's happening. You know this could possibly be seen somewhere. So if they stick around for 20 minutes, it's because they're cool with it. So it's rare that we'll lose something Like the longer games, like the quiz in the face segment, which usually goes on anywhere between like 3 to 9 minutes, depending on how far they make it in the game. They almost always sign the release. Plus, they win money sometimes, and you don't get the money unless you sign the release. It's the lightning round, when I really ambush people and they're not looking at me, and I come up behind it. I'm like, Juliana Margulies! And then literally I run away after saying just that, and then someone comes up to them and is like, Miss, do you mind signing this release so that appears on national television?
Almost always the people that appear on the show are, bare minimum amused and confused, and often really enjoying themselves talking to you. There is one woman from the new season of the show. Her name is Elena, who I really loved.
I'm in love with her.
So let's take a listen to Elena. You recorded with her. The segment is 10 minutes long, 5-10 minutes long, and the whole time she is physically leaving.
She's attempting to get on the subway, but continuing to play the game.
Yeah, both of them at the same time. Let's take a listen.
Miss, you want to get quizzed in the face? You can win money right now on the street. What's your name?
Elena.
Oh, Elena, I'm Billy. Nice to meet you.
Glad to meet.
What's happening?
I'm going out.
That's okay. This will be really quick. Okay, here's how it's going to work. If you get what?
Obama.
I didn't ask about that. Okay, if you get 2 questions wrong, you're out. If you need help answering a question, we can beg a stranger twice. You can compliment my hands. Do you understand?
No.
Perfect. Here we go, Elena. Round 1, question 1. According to Beyonce's song Run the World, who runs this mother? A, girls, B, bears, C, Lorne Michaels, D, Freemasons.
Girls.
Are you sure, Elena?
Yes.
Yes, correct, Elena. Yes, correct. You're on to question 2. Here we go.
Okay.
What?
Nothing.
Jeez. Question 2. Who did Sinead O'Connor tear up a photo of on Saturday Night Live in the 90s while saying, quote, fight the real enemy? A, the Pope, B, the President, C, Casey Wilson, D, those people in the sample picture when you buy a frame. What?
The Pope.
Yes, correct, Elena. Yes. Boy, are you a know-it-all.
$1,000 million.
No, you don't get anything yet. Oh, okay, great. On to question 3. What are you worried about?
I have to meet someone.
I have things to do, too. I have TV shows I like to watch.
You don't have to take the subway.
Excuse me?
You don't have to take the subway.
I take the subway all the time. I have a Metro card and everything. I was born in Queens.
Oh, I love her to death.
She's such a wonderful woman.
You have to, that clip really sells itself when you see her facial expressions. I mean, it sounds funny too, but you got to go, if you go on BillyOnTheStreet.com, we have the Elena clip, and she's just priceless.
She stays with you
The whole time.
It's a very strange thing.
Until the very end. And then she storms off.
What is it? What is it that you wanted to tell me about her? You said there was something you wanted to tell me about her.
This is great. So, usually in order to see the full episodes, you have to watch them on Fuse, Friday nights, 10 o'clock, 9 Central, or you can buy them on iTunes. But we'll always release 1 or 2 segments from each week's episode online, on BillyOnTheStreet.com or on YouTube or whatever. So. And you can Facebook me and follow me on Twitter, and I always post those things. However, we posted the Elena clip, her full clip online because she was so great. And one of the Billy on the Street fans, writes on my Facebook wall, "Elena lives in my building." Some guy recognized her, some gay man in Chelsea in New York where we filmed it. Probably, I don't know if he's gay, I'm just assuming. Recognized Elena, and I thought, oh, that's very funny. A week later, he writes on my Facebook wall again, and he says, I forget his name, otherwise I would give him a shout out because I love that he wrote to me. He says, he saw Elena in the building, asked her if she was aware of this being out there, because of course we filmed this months ago and now it's finally out on television, and Elena said she's been getting recognized in the subway and she doesn't know why. She doesn't fully remember shooting it. She kind of remembers. She doesn't know what it was. She doesn't know what it's on. And I just love the fact that she is getting recognized in New York. That really makes me happy.
In assaulting all these people, have you ever been in a position where you felt physically uncomfortable, as in concerned about your safety?
Not really. I once went up to an old lady who slapped me across the face really hard, but I thought that was hilarious. Good for her. She should. So far I haven't really been like attacked or anything. Again, it's not a hidden camera show. Sometimes there'll be some like gruff dude who like, will get pissed off that we put cameras in his face, like Sean Penn without the Oscars, basically, and they tend to get more annoyed at the cameramen than me. You don't touch the talent, Jesse, even they know that. But they really, they don't like the camera in their face. So they might like, put their hand up or something, but no one's threatened. No one's really, I haven't had any like physical altercations with anyone.
Well, except for the woman who hit you.
Except for the one old lady who slapped me across the face, but I like that.
Many of the questions on the show are subjective questions. You're not afraid to really berate someone who disagrees with you on even subjects that aren't related to Meryl Streep and Glenn Close. That mostly, but often other things
sometimes.
As well. And that got me wondering about game show laws.
Yeah, we are officially a game show.
It's like in the movie Quiz Show, right? Where there's a bunch of laws from the 50s about what you can and can't do on a game show.
We are a game show. It is a real game show. We follow game show laws. And there are certain things we had to figure out in order to be able to do that and do what I want to do on the show.
What is it? Give me an example.
It's very complicated, to be honest, and I don't really understand. It was a lawyer.
You're no game show lawyer.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Well, there are game show compliance lawyers, and we have those. But we figured it out. I mean, to put it very simply, for the subjective questions, I just have to have my answer written down beforehand. I can't just make it up on the spot or tell someone they're wrong just arbitrarily. And as long as we do that, we're following game show laws.
So as long as on the note card that you're holding, it says that Beyonce is better than Rihanna.
Right, exactly. Then I can walk away from someone who doesn't agree with me and they lose, and that's okay.
Well, Billy, I love your show. I couldn't love it more.
Oh, thank you very, very much.
I really appreciate you taking the time to be on Bullseye. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. I loved it.
Billy Eichner. You can find new episodes of Billy on the Street at Funny or Die. You can also see him on American Horror Story, on the wonderful late lamented show Difficult People, so much more. He's also going to be playing the voice of Timon in the new version of The Lion King.